Hello and welcome to the Columbia Daily Tribune's Courtside View basketball webcast. This is Tribune sports editor Joe Waljasper along with Tribune basketball beat writer Steve Walentic. Steve, Missouri has opened its exhibition season, beating Northwest Missouri State handily. Just your thoughts from your first look at Missouri this season.
Well, I think it's hard to make too many conclusions off of an exhibition game where clearly the teams did not match up physically, and that was evident with Missouri starting the game, I believe, 27-3. But the one thing you did see, I think, is why you recruit transfers as opposed to freshmen, because on Monday night, guys like Ernest Ross and Keon Bell and Alex Oriaki were ready to play a college basketball game, and obviously had a huge impact. I thought Missouri had to be really encouraged with what Ross did. When you look at what they lost from last year, they lost two of the best three-point shooters in the country, and I think that Marcus Denman and Kim English made a huge difference on what they were able to do offensively, just because you couldn't cheat into the paint against them with those two guys on the floor. They don't have a proven three-point shooter right now on this team. But you saw Ernest Ross last night, I believe, made 4 of his first 5, made 6 of 10 in the game. He was not a good three-point shooter when he came to Missouri from Auburn. He was a 33% guy as a sophomore there. But I think not having to be necessarily the go-to guy and having a point guard like Phil Pressey who can get you open looks, I think, and also the work that he's done in his time here, I think there's reason to at least hope he will be a more consistent guy and really could be a weapon for them.
One thing I noticed about this team, I just think they're a lot more athletic maybe than they were last year. Last year they were good basketball players, but maybe not super athletes. Look at Bell, look at Ross is just such a physically imposing guy for a guard. I mean, he's like a house. So I think that's maybe one area that's going to be an improvement over last year, just athleticism.
Yeah, and also size to go with that, because there's no question when Missouri took the floor on Monday night, they were a much more imposing team than we ever saw them last season. I think at one point they played 6 guys who were 6'7" or taller. They had 2 guys last year who were 6'7" or taller. It does make a big difference. They're able to be a lot more disruptive in the paint. I think certainly Alex Oriaki is going to help with that even more as the year goes on. And I think as Bowers gets a little bit more comfortable coming back from his injury and being more of the explosive, leaping guy that he was his first 3 years, I think they have a chance to be much more disruptive in the paint. And I think those 2 guys that you mentioned with Bell and Ross are going to help them a lot on the perimeter, being able to extend their defense a little bit more. They're not going to be a pressing team, but just be more aggressive on the wing. And then you add to that, obviously, Phil Pressey and Mike Dixon, who have proven they can be disruptive on the ball defenders as well.
How do you see Bowers' role now compared to what it was when he was still playing under Mike Anderson's system? I mean, do you think he's a little bit more perimeter focused, or is he going to be more inside?
I think he's going to be a kind of a hybrid. I think he's not going to be as perimeter oriented as the guy who played that position last year, which was obviously Kim English, because their skills are really different. But we did see Lawrence on the perimeter more on Monday night. There was a moment early in the game where he had the ball kind of isolated at the top of the key, which is not a position where I was really used to remembering him, and he kind of backed his guy down and made a turnaround jump shot from the free throw line. I think you're going to see him doing more of that. I mean, I think he's worked on his perimeter skills in his time away, and particularly over the summer. I think he is probably one of their better shooters. I don't know if his range stretches all the way out to 3-point land the way he's probably hoping. I think we'll have to see, but he was always a pretty good shooter from 15 feet and in, and I think he's definitely added to that. So he'll be more on the perimeter, but he is going to help them inside. I still expect him to be one of their better rebounders and a disruptive defensive presence. he doesn't have to be the only guy inside, though, with the other guys that they have around him.
And then just lastly, do you think any of these freshmen are going to be part of the rotation?
Well, it's really hard to say at this point. I think Negus Webster-Chan looked the best of the three who played on Monday. I think he had 6 points, and he's got an opportunity early in the year just because I think this team really will count on Jabari Brown when he can play after the first semester. But that's not until the Illinois game, really. So I think there's a window there where there's some minutes on the wing that are unaccounted for, and I think if he's able to be a steady player, and that's actually the word that Frank Haith used to describe him the other night, I think he's got a shot to come in and play a role early, and if he does well in that, he can earn himself some minutes going forward.
All right. Well, tune in next week where we'll look forward to Missouri's season opener.